Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show we are going to have Michael. Michael is from Maryland in the USA. So let's see what Michael has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello. Hello.
Hi, how are
Hello,
you?
Mike. Hello, Mike. I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Good, about yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much. My God, it's a sunny day there.
Yes, it is actually 63 degrees today, so we're taking it.
Michael, tell me, where are you from?
I am from Chestertown, Maryland. It is about probably like an hour and a half away from Baltimore. It's a nice little town, great place if you want to retire and or to raise a family, kind of anything between. But it's a good place to kind of settle in if that's kind of what you want to do.
Amazing. And you were born there and being raised there as well?
I was born in Maryland. I've always lived in Maryland, save for the 4 years that I was actually active duty in the Air Force. I was stationed down at Langley in Hampton, Virginia, from 2000 to 2004, but then came back up there to kind of help my family out when I got out. But yeah, I'm a Marylander by heart, so born and raised. Not where I am now, but in different parts. But yeah, always.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Michael?
So I'm in the Air Force Reserves. Although I work full time on the Air Force base that I'm with, I work in the customer support section where I generally deal with a lot of people, lots of characters. But my primary responsibility is personnel. So I really push paperwork and ID cards and you name it, I do it. So it's a good job though. I like it.
So tell me a little bit about your job.
So pretty much what it is that I started this new position full time back in January of 2020, right before COVID happened. So primarily what I do is the main responsibility is doing people's ID cards, because that's kind of the big thing. That's how they log into their computers and to do their job. But I also do other things such as naturalizations for those that come into the military that are not U.S. citizens. So we help with that. It's not a difficult process, a long one though. So we help them with becoming a U.S. citizen, which is actually it's kind of a rewarding job, so to speak. Help them and help their families out too. A lot of it we do line of duty determinations. That's if anybody gets hurt on the job. We do paperwork for that so they can kind of get the proper care that they need. And it's just a lot of kind of back and forth people, customer service type dealing. So I do that on the reserve weekends as well as, full time Monday through Friday. So it's just never ending, but it is a good rewarding position. Mm-hmm.
Amazing, Michael. And also, when I was checking your Instagram profile, I could see some episodes of Power of XMen.
Oh yes. So I every now and then will do a podcast called Power of XMen, and that's just us nerding out on our favorite X-Men characters, X-Men comics, anything Marvel related. I mean, X-Men right here. So I'm a nerd by heart. I love it. I've grown up with it, and it's just near and dear to me. And I actually was invited on about a year ago in January to talk about a certain character. And the guy Paul, who has been so generous, has allowed me to come on every now and then since, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it can be a little nerve-wracking at times because it's going to air out there, but it's a good community, a good place to really just talk about what you love, and everyone is just so sweet, so kind, and I enjoy doing it.
Amazing. Okay, so through the process, through the journey of William the Magic Box, I'm going to ask a little bit more about your passion in life, about your job as well. Okay? So, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life to share your point of views?
Yes, I am so ready. Let's do it.
No, I think that my accent is very strong. Brazilian accent is very strong sometimes.
No, it's great. No, I have a really good Brazilian friend, and yeah, at first, we had kind of a little bit of a barrier, but no, it works out. It works out.
Crazy. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us
Okay.
to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Okay, Michael, so before I start the game, so through the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't have an answer, always can change, okay? It's all
Okay.
very friendly. First question for you is, what is the silliest thing have you ever posted online on social media?
Oh gosh. The silliest thing that I can remember. Okay, so this was probably some years ago, and I'm sure I probably have since taken it down. So if anyone tries to find it, good luck. I was hanging out with a good friend of mine, and it's funny because I really don't even go on Facebook that much anymore. But when I was primarily active on it, I remember going out, just hanging out at a bar and just, kind of kicking a few back, getting a little, tipsy and whatnot. I use the term lightly. No, I was pretty much wasted. And I would just start posting just random stuff on there, thinking that, anybody's going to really, really care and whatnot. But I think I posted things like, oh, fell on my butt, oh, fell into a puddle, just so stupid stuff. That I'm like, why? I go back in there, I'm like, why am I doing this? Nobody's responding, nobody's saying anything. I think the one thing though I did post years ago though that kind of almost got me in trouble was, again, I'm not an alcoholic, I swear to God, I promise I'm not. And I was on my phone and I was texting, thinking I was texting somebody, when I was accidentally posting a story or a post on Facebook, someone's kind of personal business out there a little bit. I don't even remember what it was, but somebody had quickly messaged me on Messenger saying, Mike, did you really want to do this? Is this something that you want? And I looked back on it and I'm like, oh my God. So I had to quickly delete it. And I think it was something, I was saying something about somebody that I didn't really like. I don't remember too much about it, but I was like, ooh, that's not good. So yeah.
I think all of us have this period of our lives where we are very tipsy or just funny, and you just post something, you go like, oh my God, what have I done?
Oh yeah, I have another story, but that's another time.
You can share if you want to.
Let's, again, not alcoholic, but when I was active duty in the military, me and my friends, when I was living on base, we would always have these kind of outside gatherings right outside of my friends, because we were living on the dorms. And so a friend of mine, Ray, he was on the second floor. So we were all kind of like a little outside party. And this is early 2000s. So they had this alcoholic drink where they came in these test tube shooters. I don't know if they have them now, but I would drink those a lot. And they were kind of like these fruity drinks. They were pretty good. So I was like kind of, shooting them back and whatnot. And I was talking on the phone with a friend of mine, my best friend, Jenna, and sitting on the rail against this kind of brick type pillar. And I lost my balance and I fell off the second floor of the building.
Oh my God.
And so I did not hurt myself because there was like kind of this like little grass seed, hay kind of barrel thing, right, that I fell on. I lost one of my sandals. And I was still talking on the phone like nothing had happened. It was the craziest thing. So just kind of a piece of advice, do not sit on the rail drinking and talking on the phone because you could possibly fall off. So personal experience.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. A lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, it was back in my 20s, so kind of got that out of my system. But yeah, it was fun.
Next question. Michael, before the next question, as you're saying about your military life, how did you start your career in the Air Force? It was spontaneous, just came naturally, you always wanted to be part of it?
So no, when I graduated high school back in 1999, kind of aging myself here a little bit, I tried the whole community college thing for a little bit, and it really wasn't working out because I think I was just so burnt out of school. And my parents actually suggested that I go ahead and do it. And I was very much against it. I did not think it was for me. And because you see, during school you would have people come in and say, hey, look, college is not for you. Then you can either join the Army, join the Navy, Marines, Air Force. You had those options, and I kind of just shrugged it off, like, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't see myself, joining up, because it just wasn't me. But they did push me into it, and I was very resistant, but I ended up doing it. And I will say this though, the 4 years I was active, actually, it was good. I mean, you learned to trade, you definitely grew, taking on responsibilities. I mean, it's always, you have your good moments and you have your bad moments. I will say this though, when I left the military in 2004, I went back to school, did some odd jobs here and there, but I ended up coming back in 2013 as a reservist. And I will say that I have done a lot more being a reservist than I really did. And I'm not, putting down my active side, because I learned a lot, made a lot of great friends, people I still talk to today. But being a reservist, the travel has been very, very rewarding. And I mean, I've been to Germany, Ramstein's kind of the big Air Force base there. I was in Puerto Rico for 30 days because we were doing disaster relief when Hurricane Maria went through there, and it was there for a month. And then for me though, I think the big highlight was going to Italy for 2 weeks for work. I've always wanted to visit Italy, and we did that. And I tell you, I would go back in just a New York minute, because that was probably the best time, the fastest 2 weeks ever. Whew, boy, do I have the stories with that. I loved it. But I never saw myself in it, but now that I am, I don't have any regrets. And sure, I would change some things, had given the chance, but I don't. I'm glad that I did it, because I feel like it has really made me grow as a person. I'm going to be 41 here in a couple months, and I'm glad that I can look back and say that I've done this, I've done that, and that I've been here, I've been there. So I can, the memories and experiences are there. So it's good. I have enjoyed it.
Oh my God, you just mentioned 41 in a few months. I would never say, oh my God, it's not you're like 27, 26 years old.
No, thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
No,
You tell me the
appreciate
secret
it.
in private. Just DM me with the secret in private, okay? So I
Sure.
know.
Yeah, we won't talk about it here.
Let's not give away easy. Let people wonder why.
Oh, thank you. Deal.
Next question for you is, what makes you feel sentimental?
I can be, I can be a pretty emotional person. Yeah, I can blame my mom for that one. So I feel like any little thing can probably make me cry. What makes me sentimental is, so I tend to listen to a lot of true crime, podcasts, and I like to watch the ID channel. And what really kind of gets me really a lot is when you hear things about bad things that happen to children. And I've worked with kids. Before I joined the Air Force, I used to work in the special education class of my my hometown school, and which I found probably one of the biggest rewarding experience, because those were just some of the best kids ever. I mean, there was this one kid, his name was Tom. He had Down syndrome, but he was an avid basketball, fan, would always talk to me about it, all the time. So it's just, hearing, tragic stories involving children, is always just very, it always just kills my heart. And then I watch a lot of, I'm a big animal person. I have 2 cats and I love dogs, and just, you hear any tragic story involving them, just I will start bawling. That's why I don't like to be on Facebook and you watch these videos or about these stories of animals, or even good ones where they've come from bad places and now they're in a loving home and whatnot. Quick story: I have a cat named Indy. She's 3, and she was rescued by my sister from an abusive home, and my sister, she was working this job where one of her coworkers said, hey, look, I have this cat. her ex at the time didn't like it and would abuse it because apparently I guess her ex-boyfriend had gotten her that cat. And a story that she had told my sister was he didn't like it so much that he actually hit her over the head with a shovel. And so she says, I can't let her live like this. And first my thinking is, why are you still even with this person then if that's the case? So she gave the cat to my sister, and my sister gave her to me, and she's been with me. And I'd say, and I love her to death, although she really tries my patience a lot because she just gets those zoomies and loves to hop on everything and whatnot. But I wouldn't trade her for anything. And I have, my other cat that I've had that I adopted from my best friend. Took him a while to get along, but I'm an animal person. And if I had like millions of dollars, I would definitely open up an area and bring like senior dogs or dogs that get abandoned, cats, you name it, and just give them a place to, feel, loved and, roam and whatnot. So yeah, I can be pretty emotional.
Very sweet, Michael. I think, I feel the same as well. When I see those videos, I even don't like watching either because it just breaks my heart. I think how
it does.
They are so genuine. They just bring love. They just bring you know what I mean, good thing to us. And I don't understand how people are capable to hurt those beautiful creatures. I just
absolutely.
don't understand.
Well, they're just so innocent, and they don't know. I mean, it's just they look at you and
they trust
their
us.
family. Yes, absolutely. So it just, I never could understand how can someone ever just abusively put their hands on them like that. And I don't want to talk about it where I just think about it. Just gets me.
It's heartbreaking for sure. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Michael, next question is, what is the best compliment have you ever received?
Well, you just gave it to me earlier, so thank you.
Besides that.
The best compliment that I ever received is just honestly, people, and I'm not one that asks for recognition in the things that I do. I like to do things just because I feel like, in today's world, we really, as a people, and I'm just speaking for myself here, I feel like we don't really look out for each other, really help each other, anymore. So I like to kind of put myself out there for people that need it. And, when someone just kind of brings up and say, hey, thanks to, Mike or, blah, 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 really appreciate what he did and whatnot. It's always a compliment to me, knowing that, that they recognize the effort and whatnot. So, but I never ask for it. And frankly, I'm not one to really like that type of attention, because I don't think you shouldn't do something for that. You should do it out of, the kindness of your heart because, you want to genuinely help somebody. But, when you hear that type of feedback, it's always nice. So.
Good one. Very good. Next question. Before the next question, tell me when started this passion for the XMen movies and or XMen overall, not just the movies, but the whole thing. And which one is your favorite character and why?
So how I got into XMen was, a really good friend of mine years ago actually introduced me to the cartoon, the original animated series, back in, it was like 1992. And, it just drew me in because you have these characters like, I am a child of the 80s. So, I grew up with like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, I was like DuckTales and all that. But for some reason, it was like the X-Men really just enthralled me because you have these, superpowered people with these, great abilities, fighting crime or whoever the villain of the day was, and then I got into the comics, and it was even much better because, they have such a more backstory to them and you just want to know more. But for me, my favorite character and now and forever, I love Jean Grey. She is probably she's just the best. And in fact, I have a quote from her that I'll share for later, but reason why I love her so much is because she's a character that, is very powerful. Right now in the comics, she's considered to be an Omega level mutant, telepath, telekinetic, she's just that powerful, but she represents what it is to have such power and still be a human being, to not let it corrupt you. to know that you can do all this crazy, amazing things, but yet you're still a person and you're not better than anybody else. And that, it humanizes you. And I like that she is not, she fights for, the rights of those that can't defend themselves, minorities, people that are oppressed. I mean, before the new era of X-Men comics that came about, she was dead in the comics for a long time. And then when she came back, she helmed her own X-Men team, X-Men Red, and her mission was to, bring about this peace amongst, the world. Because, and I don't like to get political and whatnot, but in today's world, when we're so divided, and in the comics, here she is, just came back from the dead, and now she's out there fighting to bring about, coexistence. Hey, mutants are not something to be feared. We're just people too, and we can coexist as one. So, yeah, she's always been my favorite, and I just love her so much. So,
I love the X-Men movies. I think that
Yes.
it's always, I loved when they start fighting and showing their power. It's just like, wow, it's just amazing.
Oh, it's awesome. Yes, I can't wait to see how they integrate them into the MCU.
Cool. Next question is, what would
Yes.
be the title of your memoir?
Oh gosh. What would title? I guess it's probably real cheesy. I used to kind of always say it's all about the memories. Because when I was active duty, I would always take pictures all the time. And you had those little fun saver cameras, before we had our phones and we can do all that stuff. So I would constantly take pictures, and my friend Ray would always just tease me about it, like, why are you always taking photos? And I always say, because it's all about the memories. But then I would say something really stupid, something morbid, like, what if you get into an accident and you hit your head and you lose, like 10 years of your life, and you need those photos to help jog your memories back. It's just some stupid saying, but I would always say that, it's all about the memories. So I'd probably say that. Mm-hmm.
All about the memories. I love that.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Next question. Next question for you, Michael, is, what 3 things do you want to be remembered for?
I probably just for the things that I'm very passionate about, my art. I like to write too. I'm actually working on a project right now that I won't really talk too much about, but just I think the thing, just being passionate, just aspects, I guess, of who I am. I think it's important for all of us to know who we are. And I mean, and I'm not conceited or anything like that, but I think I'm a pretty, decent person. So, I just, career-wise, what I've done, where I've been, and just, just being me.
Good one. Ready for another one? Let's do it. So before the next question, tell me a little bit about your arts.
Oh gosh, I've been doing this ever since I could lift a pencil. I love drawing. It's just, for me, it's a good way to just clear my mind and really get creative and think of new ideas. And of course, talking about X-Men, I would love to actually illustrate for Marvel. It's definitely something I'm always been passionate about. I love drawing people and just different poses and whatnot. My mom would always tell me, though, that I guess my love of art started when I was just a kid, and it's kind of a peculiar, I guess, story. But when I was a child, I guess I would be so enamored, so fascinated with telephone poles. I don't know why. She would always tell me that I would always know where I was by looking at the telephone poles. Whenever we'd be in a car going somewhere, like, oh yes, we're here because I know this, or and she would say that I would always occupy myself. Like if she was doing something outside and I would be out there with her, I would sit in the garden in the mulch, and I would create like little telephone poles out of the mulch, just kind of like line them up in stacks. And she's like, yeah, and I can tell that's how kind of your artisticness, started. And then I was given my first art set as a child, I guess, I think my grandmother actually got it for me. And then I would start drawing all these pictures and, whatnot, and just kept on going with it. So yeah, it's just really literally since I was just a child, I've always been doing it. And I will say this though, art is it's such a process, but I love it because I love looking back and looking at things that I've done years ago and just seeing how evolved, your talent has gotten. And I know there are people out there that would cringe and whatnot and be like, oh, I can't believe I would draw like that. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's crappy. Ugh. But for me, I love it because, you can just put them together and be like, okay, this is how I used to draw back in like 1997 compared to, this year, and just watch the growth and whatnot. So it's just, it's great. And I will do it until they put me in the ground. So.
Yes, this picture behind you is your art as well?
No. So I'm actually at a friend's house right now. So that's a painting that was given to him. I mean, I wish I could do something like that. I'm not the best painter. I mean, I'm more pen and ink, and I'm actually just kind of re-educating myself on Photoshop right now. I haven't really touched that for a while and adding color. Although I'm actually working on something where I'm actually using Copic marker to add color. Let me tell you something, that scares me because it's like one wrong, thing, and it could just ruin the whole process. But it's actually kind of fun though. So, but no, yeah, that's a I wish I could type of talent.
Next question for you is, what have you learned since the COVID crisis hit 2 years ago?
Just don't take things for granted. And really just, it's tough because, I know people that have lost people, with this. And even right now, a dear friend of mine is going through it right now with a cousin of hers who is fighting, for his life because of it. And if anything, it really just makes you appreciate the people that you have, and then just, what you may have taken for granted, pre-COVID, and now that you look back and, you can't, how we were so, how so limited, going out, or, having to do this or, go to the places here. I haven't traveled anywhere, since this whole thing started, and, and I miss it, and I definitely would like to do it again. But I think it's just really important to showcase just, your relationships, and then the things that you just, like I said, the things that you take for granted now that you realize, oh wow, that now it's been kind of taken from you. Even though I tell people this will eventually end, we will definitely get back to how it was. But it really does, put a lot of things in perspective and kind of appreciate what you have and what you can do and whatnot. So,
Very good one. Yeah, I think all of us, we find a way to learn about ourselves in a better way since this crisis started. I think we think some part of ourselves that we never could explore if we didn't go through that situation so far.
I think, and that's a good point right there, is that a big thing about is how well of a person that you are to adapt into this type of crisis, and yes, how you can, really manage through it. It's tough, yes, and everyone's having a hard time, but I think right now your adaptability, that's just how you can really manage how you can manage through it, really is a testament of your own character. And it's like I said, we will definitely get through this. This world has been through pandemics and whatnot before, and have gotten through it, and we will definitely get through this too.
Absolutely. And I think it's very fascinating to see how people, they create themselves, they find a way to survive, they find a way to, right, to live day by day with this crisis. I think it's fascinating when you see stories on TV, people sharing on social media. Oh, yeah. So I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Next question, Michael, let's do it. Next question is, what is your favorite holiday season of the year?
Oh gosh, it's definitely Christmas. I am a Christmas nut. I will say a close second though is Halloween. So I get into the holidays so much. I mean, I love it. I will decorate my office. Like you should have seen how it was for Halloween. Oh my gosh, I'm actually surprised I was able to get away with some of the stuff I had, decorated in there. But yeah, I tell you that, and the customers really were very receptive to it. They loved it. But when it comes to Christmas, oh yeah, I love the feel. I mean, I love just listening to the Christmas songs and just going out and getting stuff. I always overdo it with like gift giving. I can't help it. My mom will sit there and like I'll go over and see them, and she'll be like, okay, we're not gonna go crazy with each other this year. We're only gonna get like certain things and whatnot. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. I mean, I'm on Amazon, just okay, they'll like this, they'll like that, just constantly getting stuff in. But I love doing it. So I will visit a friend of mine that lives in Delaware, not far from where I am. And there's a place called Longwood Gardens, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, really huge garden, and they have different sections and whatnot. You got a really beautiful conservatory where it has like exotic flowers in there. And it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, I highly encourage anybody to visit there if they're in the area. But for Christmas, oh my gosh, they just go all out. It is such a treat. And you could just literally spend like all day there just to see all the lights. I mean, when you go into the conservatory, they had this one time where they had floating Christmas trees, and it kind of makes you feel like you were in a Harry Potter movie for a little bit. It was just so cool. I mean, and then they always change it up every year. And I was so sad because, well, we actually did go up there this year, but it was after Christmas because the tickets did just sell out so fast. But it's just actually one of those wonderful places. But I love watching old Christmas movies, from like the 50s and the 60s. I think I have a few favorites that I always watch every year. It's just a tradition. And no, I love it. It's just such a good feeling. Although I long for the spring and summertime now. So, I mean, I'm not in a rush to celebrate it again. But I definitely just go all out. I love it.
Very good. Right. I have 3 questions left for you. Okay, Mike?
Okay.
Let's do it. Michael from Maryland, next question for you is, what is something you wish you could do every single day?
Sit on the beach and drink fruity drinks. If I had the money, yes, I would be doing that. I would just be a bum right on the beach, just kicking back, one fruity drink in my hand, just listening to the waves, the ocean, and just living that life. I would do that. Yes, absolutely. I'm a beach guy, so my goal is to actually live close to the water. So yeah, yep. I'll be lazy on the beach.
Enjoying a cocktail or a drink.
Oh yes, absolutely. Why not?
2 questions left. Let's do it. Michael, what's the next? Sorry, I just said that word in Portuguese now. I said, oh my God, that's funny. Right, before the next question, tell me a little bit, what Maryland sticks out compared with another states in the US? What's something that you just can find there?
Oh, God. So for us Marylanders, it is the crab cakes. That is what we're really known for, the blue crab. Oh, chef's kiss. Amazing. And Old Bay. I am an Old Bay nut. It's a spice, and I literally will put that on just everything. Crabs, chicken, fries, shrimp. I mean, you go down there, you'll have just Old Bay this, Old Bay that. I mean, it's just, yeah, that's kind of like the standout, kind of Maryland thing. And I tend to, it's funny, this is kind of stupid. So and they'll come in all sorts of like containers and whatnot. So I was hanging out with a friend of mine years ago, and we went to this restaurant, and it wasn't in Maryland, it was in Delaware. And I happened to ask, I said, do you have Old Bay? Because sometimes they might. And the waiter said no, but they had this other type of seasoning. So I said, oh no, that's fine. I think I had to order some kind of shrimp dish. So I actually smuggled in an Old Bay spice, and actually just took it out and put it on there and just put it like right back in my coat. And I was just like, perfect, I'm good now. So I mean, I love it. It's, you know, I will do that. No shame. So,
Good man. I'll remember that when I come to Maryland for the very first time.
You should, yes.
Okay,
You'll love it.
Okay, this question here, we already talked about, but let's see. Are you a cat or a dog person? If you could be an animal, which one that would be and why?
I've always grown up having both dogs and cats, but I will lean more towards cats because I have two cats of my own that I love dearly, Lily and Indy. And I guess for animal wise, that's a really good question. What kind of animal would I be? An animal that would, I guess I would definitely be some kind of eagle, just to fly, just to soar through the sky. You know, that's something I would just love to kind of have that, you know, free feeling. And I would definitely not be one of those types of birds that likes to swoop in right in front of your car as you're driving down the road. I'm like, why? All this open air you have and you want to do that? No, that would not be me. I would definitely be up in the clouds, soaring, just living my best life. Mm-hmm.
And if you could fly, if you become a bird, if you could fly somewhere right now at the moment, where would you fly and why?
I would probably fly myself to Italy, although it would be a very exhausting flight at that. And I would probably want to sleep for a good 2 days, but I would definitely do that because there's so much of that country that I would love to see that I didn't really get to go to. I mean, I know it's going to sound very touristy, but I would love to have gone to Rome, Naples, just south of there. So I would definitely fly over there. How would I get there and would I even make it? That would be the question. But you know, I'd probably find a ship and just kind of stow away on there for a little bit.
Yeah, just to rest. Okay, just to rest.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Michael, ready for the last one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last question. But before the last question, people watch the interview. Would you like to start a career in the Air Force? What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Just really be open about, you know, because sometimes you're going to maybe not like the type of career that you get thrown into, because it really depends on how you test on your ASVAB, because that really determines like what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, and whatever you test higher in is where they're going to want to put you. So what I tell the ones, we call them the non-priors, or the ones that get ready to go to basic training, what I say is, if you don't like what you do, you have at least a couple years before you can cross-train to something else. Do it, get through it, and then when you have that time, then go see your career advisor, talk to them, and then see what you can cross-train into, because it's not set in stone what your job is. You have the option to do so much else in the Air Force. So don't just think that whatever you get, that's it. It's not. So keep yourself open, and just, you know, work through it. Be patient, but you will definitely be able to try other things if that's what you really want to do.
Very good. Last question for you is, what is the worst advice have you ever given?
Oh God, worst advice I have ever given. Probably, oh God. You know, I always try to say that always try to be honest with somebody. And I told, God, maybe I want to say this. I told a friend of mine, I said, you know, if you should really, because she was in a relationship and she really liked this guy. And I said, look, you should just be upfront, you know, say, hey, you know, I tell the person that you like him, you know, ask if you want to go out, you know, whatnot. No, I mean, what's the worst that he could say? No, and that's it, you know. So she's like, you know what? Yeah, no, Mike, you're right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and ask him. And so I said, well, you know, tell me how it went. So she comes back probably like the next day, and I can tell her face that something was not quite right. So I looked and I said, what's wrong? I said, what's wrong? Are you okay? And she goes, why did you tell me to tell him that I liked it? And I said, well, I just thought it'd be important because, you know, you've been pining over him for so long. So, and they it's like they didn't know each other. And she's like, I told him, and he rejected her, but he did it in such like crappiest way. Like he said, "Oh no, I don't go for." I think it was like, "I don't go for thick girls" or something like that, and you're a little too thick for my taste. And
Oh my
it's
God.
just, I was like, "I'm so sorry," you know. And I think, and you can tell that it really hurt her feelings because she's was someone that's very, you know, conscious about how she looked and whatnot. And that is the last thing that you want someone to ever tell you, especially, you know, if you feel like that. I felt so bad. And I mean, who knew? But still, it's just, I was like, I'm so sorry.
At least came from a good place, you know what I mean? Came
Yes,
from
and she was so sweet too. And I just didn't think it was going to be any harm, you know, and I didn't think he was going to be like that. Had I known that he had that kind of personality, I would have never said anything. But like, oh, I felt so bad.
Anyway, you did your part.
Tried to be a good friend.
Michael, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words and you just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Oh gosh, okay. I'll be so bad at this, but sure.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
Let's start with money.
Wish. Wish I had it. Loved.
How about life?
Life. Persevered.
One word for love.
Want.
One word for sex.
Tumbleweeds.
Okay. Politics.
Tricky.
Religion.
Tricky.
Fear.
Known.
Friendship.
Appreciate it.
Desire.
Absolutely.
Regret.
Always.
Success.
Guys, success. To be determined. I know it's more than one word.
It's okay. One word for wish.
Happened.
One word for happiness.
Need.
One word for Maryland.
Amazing.
One word for USA.
Tricky.
One word for Air Force.
Growth.
The last one now, XMen. One word.
Fantastic.
Actually, I'm gonna say another one. One word for the podcast, Power of XMen. One word.
I know one word, but I'll just say it's life-changing.
Very good.
We'll put that dash in that.
Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friends. You mentioned in the beginning, Gemma, her name in the beginning?
Jenna.
Jenna, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I would meet her for a coffee and I would ask her, what is the most beautiful thing about Michael and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What do you think she would tell me?
I get a beautiful thing about me is being a good friend and a good, uncle to her daughter, because we've been friends forever. But a thing that she'll probably tell you that I need to improve on is responding to messages, because I can be so bad at that. She'll text me and then I'll respond maybe like 2, 3, sometimes 7 days later. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's just because, and I'm not someone that tries to make an excuse, but with the job, and I get so tired, and I'm like, I don't forget. I just don't get to it at the moment. But I'm always apologizing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Very good. Right, let's play now Michael and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, I'm going to trick with your T-shirt. Show me, what's that, your T-shirt? I'm trying to work it out.
Okay. So I actually made this shirt. It's based on my favorite American Horror Story character, Misty Day, from the Coven season.
Right.
This is kind of me getting back into the Photoshop program. So I launched kind of a T-shirt line for myself to kind of get my artwork out there. And so I did this one because I love the character so much, and so I put it out there along with other things. So yeah, it was just something that I did.
Good one. Very good. I was trying to work it out what was that. Good. Okay, Michael, you can ask me a question now.
All right, so a question for you, and it's not really a big question, but just a simple one is, how are you doing and how's your life?
Oh my God, beautiful question. Michael, genuinely, I'm feeling, I think since I'm feeling very well. I think since I started doing this show, this podcast, the Magic Box, it has bring me so much into my life, so much of positivity, people sharing their memories in life, people connect with each other, people, just being themselves. I think I must say, it's something that I always wanted to do. I always want to, I was looking for it, I was asking myself through my life, my God, what did you come to this world for? What is your thing about yourself? And I couldn't answer that. And now doing this show, it's something that I found myself. I think it's something very special, something very personal as well. And I think that it's for me, I think every day I go to bed thinking about that. I wake up every morning thinking about that as well. So imagine, I think, as you can see my smile talking about, I think it's such a pleasure. I feel so lucky that, that happened to me. It came along through a very, let's say, dark time, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you are in a dark place, there's a beautiful thing come out there. Out of you was talking about the COVID crisis, and I think all of us went through so much uncertainty at the time. We didn't know what's going on. A lot of people went through we were not prepared for that. So, and saying that, as I mentioned before as well, a lot of the creativity came along. A lot of people, they start to find themselves and to live in a different way. And I'm so glad and thankful for this idea that came along during the beginning of this uncertainty time, let's say, let's put it this way. So yeah, I'm doing well. I think, of course, it's not always up like this, sometimes down. Well, but I think overall, I'm very happy, and I'm so happy to be able to connect with so many interesting people like you, people sharing their memories in life. I think I'm blessed, and I'm so thankful for that, for sure.
Oh, good. No, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that's awesome.
I said, I just want to ask you if you have a good time. Did you enjoy the interview?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was a little nervous at first because I knew we were going to do that word game, because you actually interviewed a friend of mine, Randy, some months ago, and I'm always so bad about that. But no, I really appreciate that, having me on and talking to me. It's just, for me, again, it is all about the memories. So, but this will definitely go down as really one of the best times that I've had, and I really. It's touching when you reached out and asked me to do it. So I am so appreciative, and I really thank you for allowing me the time and whatnot. This has just been so amazing, and I'm just so grateful.
And actually, you just said something now that is very true about memories. Imagine this memory you are making now is going to be there forever. Imagine, like,
absolutely.
10 years time, or sometime you're gonna look back again this interview, you're gonna go like, oh my God, how amazing to have these memories in the show. Yeah. So it makes sense. Amazing. I didn't think this way. It's amazing. It's just amazing. But before you go, Mike, would you like to share a positive message or a positive quote, something that inspires you?
Yes.
I know you have many.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and, because, I'm a big X nerd and whatnot. So there's a quote by my favorite character, Jean Grey, and it's always stuck with me. And she says, "We come into this world alone and we leave the same way." Let me get it. The time that we spend in between, time spent alive, sharing, learning together, is all that makes life worth living. And for me, that's always such a powerful statement because, you know, when you have people that ask questions about, you know, what is, you know, the big meaning of life and, you know, why are we here, blah, blah, blah. And how I attribute to that is it's just simply just live, just, you know, live your life, you know, do what you do, do what you love to do. It's just really just enjoy the time that you have because, and you hear all the time that tomorrow is never promised to you. So, and, you know, like right now, you know, with, you know, doing Air Force, and then I'm always doing some art project, and I'm working on another project that I want to, you know, put out there. Currently, I finished it, but I'm kind of going through the editing process, but I want to get it out there and see where it goes, just to say that you tried, even if nothing comes of it. But for me, I can at least say that I tried, and then I can actually look back at that point in my life and said, you know what, I did it. I put my mind to it and I did it. And even if nothing happened to it, but I at least put effort and passion into it. So it's just really live your life, you know, be the best artist, be the best actor, singer. Even if you love doing porn, be the best porn star if you wanted to, you know, it's just whatever you're passionate about, live and just be you. So
Best of yourself always. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Michael, thanks so much for the interview. I'll keep in touch, okay? Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. This is awesome. Appreciate that.
Keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Take care.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.